Hello, mate.
Hey, how you doing, Andy? I got my two rock stars with me here.
Awesome. Who you got there with you?
Hey.
Hey, guys.
This is Abigail.
Yeah.
And this is Reese, who's semi-hiding from me now that he's on camera.
Oh, thanks for joining, guys.
Oh,
And
thanks for having us.
a pleasure. And Drew, first of all, with your children, am I right in assuming that you all meditate?
We do. You know, it's funny. I picked up the app 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you were a lifesaver for me, man. And then my kids would come in and out of the room while I'm doing my meditations, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's interesting," and they'd have a question for me. I'd be like, "Well, hold on, Dad's meditating," and they would lay down with me or listen to me, and they would like sort of by osmosis, they started meditating with me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I really think it's such a great, I don't want to say family activity but it's just a time for family to come together. I think it's so rare now that even as families we do come together for anything. Everyone's kind of off doing their own thing. I think it's such a good opportunity to be together and yet not necessarily talking is a really powerful thing. Yeah,
quiet time is so valuable. You know, it's funny because it gets to the point where Reese here actually asked for the sleep meditation at night. So we do the sleep meditation like almost every night. So if we fall asleep while we're talking to you because of your voice, don't mind us.
I'm just assuming there's narcolepsy wherever I go. People just falling asleep, you know.
Everybody just gets really calm and lays down and walks the room.
And look, hey Reese, this might be a bit too young for you. It's not too young for me because I'm always a kid inside. But last week we did a thing. We launched a thing with Sesame Street where there's meditations with Cookie Monster, and this week next week we're gonna launch with Elmo doing a nighttime meditation. So I say it might be a bit young for you. Might be worth checking out.
It's not too young for me.
Yeah, it's not too young for me either.
You got Cookie Monster to meditate?
We got Cookie Monster meditating.
Oh
that's amazing.
That's
how'd you get him to put down the cookie long enough?
in the kitchen, there's a little exercise to try and work on patience.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Which makes sense, right? So tell me, Drew, for those people tuning in who aren't necessarily parents, who aren't familiar maybe with your films, like you have sat at the top of the New York bestsellers list for as long as I can remember. With the Crayon books, I know you've done Star Wars as well, and you partnered, right, in some of your books, and how we found out about you was through Oliver. Is it Oliver Jeffers?
Yes, he was the illustrator on
the illustrator.
Yes.
And our kids kind of fell in love with some of those books, and then we found about yours, and like you're a regular visitor in the same way. You're a regular visitor in our household too, and the kids have absolutely loved those books. What's that journey been like? Are we talking about a journey of 5 years, 10 years? How long have you been writing for young children?
Well, I'm both proud and embarrassed to say it's decades at this point. That was a decades. If you go way back to the early 90s when I went to college, I studied children's literature and also cinema and screenwriting. So I thought, okay, with those two majors, I'm going to go work for Disney someday. Yeah. Which I did.
Which you did, right, with Star Wars? Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with them several times now. And actually, one of my first jobs was for them. I wrote a show called Timon and Pumbaa. It was a Disney Channel TV show. And then we did Buzz Lightyear. He had his own TV show as well. And then years and years of screenwriting. But like the Crayons book, for instance, I wrote in 2003. Yeah. Didn't sell it till 2009. Okay. And then 2013 it came out, and then everything changed. I went from TV and screenwriting and directing film to children's books, which it's the happiest place I can't imagine a better place right now.
Do you find, what's it like to sit down and, are you thinking of what will sound right for young children, or are you accessing a childlike quality within yourself and simply writing what you would enjoy yourself?
You know what? Ironically, I'm not even accessing a childlike quality. I'm just writing what makes me giggle.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same sense of humor as an 8-year-old, so finally that's paying the bills.
We'll get on great. We'll get on great too. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's about, you know, and I remember I read an interview with Roald Dahl once who said, you know, the same idea. You know, he said, you know, luckily he has the same sensibilities as a child because he writes for himself. I write very selfishly because, like, when I try and write for someone else, I can't do it.
Yeah. Did you find your writing changed when you became a parent and as you sort of dove into that whole world of children's literature? It
did. It's funny because in 2003, my wife was pregnant with Abigail. It was physical evidence of the years passing. So, you know, like 16 years ago at this point,
wow.
My wife was pregnant. I didn't have any kids when I wrote The Crayons Quit. And just to give you an idea, I wrote it. It was originally called The Crayon Chronicles. Like any child, like a 5-year-old's going to know what chronicles are.
Yeah.
And it was actually more of a water cooler, like complaint about what it's like to different people who are putting in letters of resignation. And it was very sort of adult and formal because I didn't have any kids yet. And it took like years later, like refining it and translating into kidese. And now it's easy because I'm fluent because of these guys.
Do you guys have an input on any of your dad's work?
I do. Yeah, he comes up with a lot of the different jokes and things.
You want to tell him about the best joke I ever wrote that I actually stole from you?
The apricots look like fuzzy little butts.
Yes, apricots do look like fuzzy little butts.
True story.
It's exactly right. It's in a book called The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors. That's an origin story about how rock, paper, and scissors met each other. It's sort of a superhero story.
That's your latest one, right?
Yeah. It's one of the later ones. Yeah. But I had all these objects on the kitchen table that night, and they were just household items, stuff from the junk drawer, junk from the backyard. Just because I was going to say, okay, what did rock, paper, and scissors? Who did they fight before they met each other and started having a battle?
Yeah.
And I had an apricot there. We had produce. Reese was, how old were you? It was like four years ago now. So he was like 6 years old. He picks up the apricot and he goes, "Dad, this looks like a fuzzy little butt." And I was like, "Oh my God." I started typing away. And then, you know, years later, the book comes out. He's reading the book. He goes, "Hey, you stole my joke." Yeah, hopefully it'll pay for your college too. So.
There you go. There you go. On that, Joe, I want to ask you, kind of, with, you know, there's a lot of work that's been done with meditation, looking at creativity and how it kind of impacts our creative stream and flow and how we can step out of the busyness of everyday thought. But every writer is different. Do you find that do you sort of think your way to a destination, a creative destination, or is it more a case of when you have space in your mind, thoughts, ideas arise, and you then sort of, the ones you like the look of, you take a hold of and you start to kind of play around with?
I find that for me, it's funny, I've spent my life studying that concept with other writers and myself. For me, it's impulsive and emotional. It's 100% from my heart.
Yeah.
I'll like be, and I don't usually seek it. For instance, on Rock, Paper, Scissors, it's a very glamorous Hollywood story how I came up with that one. We were driving to Costco, the three of us, and I heard them in the back seat going, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. And he'd be like, I hate this game. Blah, blah, blah. And then she'd be like, in your face. And I'm like, wait, I think I know what they're. I'm like, no, I'm driving. I'm the dad. So I'm like, rearview mirror. I'm like, are you guys playing rock, paper, scissors? Tell them what you said that day.
Oh yeah, it's this new game we came up with at recess.
Yeah, they just invented this game. And I was like, wow, oh my gosh, she really thought you invented it. So I thought I invented it. And I said, if you talk to grandma, she'd invent it. So those moments in life come to me and they're impulsive. And I'm like, wow, that would be a really funny book because no one really knows where it came from. So I'll just make it up, you know. I find that it's less of a journey to seek out the idea. Like I never sit down and go, all right, what's my idea today?
Yeah.
More like I'm making him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or, you know, I'm walking the dog and I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if the dog walked me, or something like that, you know, like.
Yeah.
So it's at a very emotional place.
I really like that. I feel like so much of our, our life is focused on the rational and kind of how to think our way to things and
Yes.
problem solve, when in truth, if we are simply more kind of present with what's happening around us, there is inspiration everywhere, and spontaneity is kind of ever present, right?
Yeah, I guess it's a Buddhist approach to writing, because, like, for instance, right now during this pandemic, I have several assignments that I'm supposed to be working on. I have a TV show I'm trying to write, and I have a book I'm trying to finish, and I allowed myself to just stop. And I have people who work with me who are very understanding.
Yeah.
Because I work that way, it's like I need to be in a good place and in a happy place to create. Because it goes back to that triangle of, you know, food, shelter, protection.
Yeah.
I retreat back into, you know, these guys.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I have to be in, like, kind of a happy place to create these books.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about getting back to that happy place, finding a happy place, and also allowing myself to just have, you know, grief or anger or fear, and just letting it come and go in a cycle, you know, so that I can get back to the part of the cycle that's happy, where the writing happens, you know?
Yeah. That's an interesting. So when you started meditation, was it for a particular kind of reason? Was it to help you kind of relax more? Was it to help you find the happy space? Or was it more just a sense of, like, this is something that's good for my health, I should probably do a little bit more of it?
You know, it's funny. I started having panic attacks and anxiety when I was in 4th grade, and this is the 80s, so no one knew what they were yet. You know, it was just Drew's having another one of his spells. You know, my poor dad, he was a fireman, real sort of blue collar guy. He was like, well, Drew needs to take a nap again. So it was, you know, go take a nap and get a glass of water. He was kind of on the right path, but you know, 2 years ago, I was at a good place, but I wanted to be at a better place.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I'm going to try this meditation. And it was recommended by a doctor at a urgent care when I was having a panic attack. He's like, you know, he's like, have you tried this thing called Headspace? And I'm like, it's not funny you mentioned that. I know some people who are over there. So he's like, well, he says, the doctor says, I consider myself a high functioning type A personality, but he's like, go get the app. He's like, as soon as you leave today, you know, go get your prescription, download the app, go home, try it. And then I did it, and that was it. Yeah.
And what are the changes for you? Kind of less, for me, I'm less interested maybe in kind of how it feels in the moment. I'm more interested in how it sort of spills out into life, and how you kind of, you know, how it shows up in other areas of your life. Are there any kind of obvious areas that for you, or for either of you guys, that...
Well, have you noticed anything?
Like on how the book
how his meditation has helped us.
Oh, well, I definitely think it helps with, like, easing, like sleep, exactly, and
Sleep.
also with dealing with stress from, like, homework and different things, like just to take a break and meditate, you know, it definitely helps with that.
She's struggling with distance learning right now, and actually he is too. And he's at 10 years old. He's starting with having a little bit of insomnia. So I put on your 10-minute longer sleep meditation, and he's right out. His sleep is better. As far as spilling out, for me, I've noticed my breathing has changed. Like, this app has literally changed the way I breathe. You know, if I'm starting to, like, go to a place that's anxious or fearful or what have you, I'll change my breathing, because I remember breathe, and then, you know, I've had a little bit of training in breathing too. Is like, so I go right to my stomach breathing. I try to get out of my shoulders.
Yeah.
But I'll notice that I'm able to identify triggers when I'm not on the app, because the app has sort of taken me to such a good place. And I really try and pay attention in the app, like in the meditation, what am I doing that's working here? Yeah. And I try and use it at the grocery store, in traffic, or
work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's just always nice to hear kind of how different people kind of experience it, because it's not that thing that is just one thing for everyone. Like, there's an element of that, of shared experience of it, but it shows up so differently in everyone's lives. And if I think back over the years of, just all the different stories of how people have found it showing up. And to say, more often than not, it's not about the 5 minutes or the 10 minutes. Like that's the essential kind of bit. But it's how it kind of shows up in people's relationships and just in other kind of parts of their day. You know.
Well, we've had I guess the side effect too is that it's brought us closer together. You know, the three of us meditate together, and it's also enabled me to look at some of the things that trigger them and some of the things that, you know, make them upset or sad or whatever.
Yeah.
How's this making you feel? How are you feeling better?
Yeah.
And I'm able to tune in, and it's actually, you know, I'm a little bit of a better dad, I guess, because I'm tuned into like, why are you laying down here with me? And they're like, oh, because of this or that, or, you know.
Yeah. And Reese, what are you, 10?
Yes.
You're 10. Okay.
11. Wait, what is the date today? 23rd? 24th?
The 4th. 24th.
Oh, tomorrow he turns 11. That's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday for tomorrow, my friend. Happy birthday. Our two are a little bit younger, and I know for parents tuning in who probably parents of who will be familiar with your books and reading to younger children, they often ask, is it even possible to meditate with young kids? And just to reassure those people, yes, it's absolutely possible. It's just that, and to your point right now, Drew, it's not like every single day kids will have the discipline or the inclination to sit down or to lie down and do it. And it's being okay with that as a parent and saying, okay, I'm just going to provide the opportunity. Some days they're going to join me, some days they won't. Some days they'll be still, some days they'll be wriggling about all over the place.
Yep. Well, in his case, here, show him your Legos. For instance, go ahead and take it up to the camera. Show it to them.
Let me see.
That's right. Well, they won't know the piece fell off. A piece fell off, so it's not perfect. But anyway, the reason is this is like what I've noticed as a dad is this is a form of meditation for Reese.
Yeah.
If he is in Lego land, he is only thinking about one Lego piece at a time, the same way you sort of deconstruct the meditation. And you know, you get lost in it. Same way, like I remember my mom when she was stressed when I was little, she would macrame or knit or crochet, and I was always wondered why. And it's like, oh, it's that repetitive, simple action that occupies your entire mind.
Yeah.
You know? When I was a teenager, I used to do roofing with my older brother was in construction, and I found myself very at peace during the day, just pounding shingles on. While it was a kind of, for me, a miserable job because I can't hardly get a nail straight.
Yeah.
I found that simple, repetitive action was really meditative. I'd come home after a day of working on the roof, and I'd be like, wow, okay, I feel at peace. I'm exhausted and sunburned, but I feel kind of good about myself.
Sure. I have friends, actually, they've left really sort of, you know, high-powered jobs and everything else kind of, and they've gone and they do manual work, and they're painting, and through choice, because they say they find it. Actually, you know, they don't have any of the stress. There is something very repetitive in the movements and the motions, and they come home at the end of the day feeling better, and they're better able to be there for their kids.
It's quality of life. And Abigail, her meditation, this is mindfulness on my part, is really slowing down and looking what's happening. Her meditation is drawing and painting. So hopefully she'll be illustrating some of my books someday.
I was going to ask. Would you like to, Abby?
Huh?
Would you like to? He's asking if you'd like to illustrate.
Oh yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, be amazing to do it together as well with your dad. That would be incredible.
Oh, a dream!
It would be so cool.
It was a dream come true, actually, for me.
Yeah. Nice. Well, guys, I wondered if so every day we've been coming together, and people have been joining us from lots of different places around the world to do a little bit of meditation. I wondered if you'd mind joining us for just a couple of minutes.
Love to. Yeah.
That'd be all right?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Again, apologies if we fall asleep, but okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. So we'll probably, do you have a particular favorite meditation or anything? I know maybe the sleep one probably we won't do, not on the West Coast right now anyway, because.
But the breathe, you know, we do the 3-minute and the 1-minute breathe all the time.
Great. Should we do something like that? That sounds good?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great. All right, as always, if you're tuning in at home, make yourself comfortable. You can sit down, you can lie down. Guys, if you want to lie down as well, you're welcome to. Okay. So we're going to start with the eyes open. A nice soft focus, just taking in the space around you in the room. And whenever you feel ready, just starting with a big deep breath, breathing in through the nose. And as you breathe out through the mouth, just gently closing the eyes, if you'd like to. And just feeling the weight of the body pressed down. So just use these first few seconds just to enjoy that feeling of having stopped. Just letting go of anything you might have been thinking about. And just starting to notice how the body feels today. So just noticing any sensations of heaviness or lightness. Maybe noticing areas of the body that feel a little tense or tight, or perhaps very relaxed and at ease. And as you sit there, as you lie there, just starting to notice the movement of breath in the body. So for this exercise, we don't have to breathe in any special way. You can just let your breath return to its natural rhythm. Just notice where in the body you feel that movement, whether it's in your chest, your diaphragm, your stomach. If you can't feel anything, you can just gently place your hand on the stomach. And we're just going to rest the mind there. So just a reminder, the body does the breathing. Don't need to breathe in a special way. The only thing we need to do is realize when the mind's wandered off. Acknowledge it, let it go, and then gently come back to the breath again. So we'll just stay there for the next 10 breaths. Just seeing any distraction, letting it go, coming back to the breath. And as you bring the attention back to the body now, letting go of any focus on the breath, but allowing that sense of ease in the body, in the mind to remain. And whenever you feel ready, you can just gently open the eyes again. You're not actually asleep, are you, Drew?
we came really close. He was snoring.
I don't know how good the sound is on this phone. I've said before, Drew, people kind of tuning in, the recording studio here is next door to a liquor store, which opens at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I never know what kind of noises we're going to get in coming through the window. They started quite early this morning. So apologies if your meditation was interrupted by any choice language. Just our local.
We have the leaf blowers outside. I was worried about you.
No, I couldn't hear it.
That's Los Angeles.
Well, look, Drew, thanks so much. Well, first of all, thanks so much for what you do. Thank you for entertaining our children every single night. And I know, who knows how many children around the world love your work. Please keep doing it. And thanks for taking the time for joining us today, all three of you. I hope you continue to stay safe and well, and also sane together in lockdown. You know.
You too with yours. We really appreciate it. It's nice.
Thanks very much, and have a good weekend, all. I will see you here again at 10 o'clock on Monday morning Pacific time.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye bye.